Thank you, Darrell. And let me start by perhaps making a linkage in order to answer that question between the title of this event and what we do and what we're trying to do. I mean, the title of progressing through collaboration and connecting the world. These are very, very important. One of the first things that I actually did when I joined the exchange is make sure that, look at the purpose. What's our purpose? What we're trying to do. And we ended up with a purpose, which is to connect, promote, and progress our markets and the communities they support for the benefit of all. So it's very important as an infrastructure what we're trying to do, and we're going to achieve this through three strategic principles, three things that we're focusing on. First one, connecting China and the world. And I'm not going to spend time because Ronnie already said it, be smart, okay? So connecting China and the world, it makes sense. We have a very unique advantage of being the most Chinese city outside of the mainland and the most international city of China. This is very, very unique. Second one, connecting capital with opportunities. We need to find those linkages of how the financial world can actually help the development of our societies. This is very, very important. Make a link between finance and the real economy. And we spend a lot of time thinking about that. And I'll come back to the listing, which is precisely where this ties very well. And the third one that we have is connecting today with tomorrow, and that has a lot of implications, not only from the fact that most of the world is moving towards East. In just like 10 years, around 50% of the world GDP will come from Asia. So it makes sense to think about the future and how do we connect today with tomorrow, but also all the technological changes that are happening in our world and the importance of technology and how do we take advantage of that and how do we leverage all these changes in the industry. Now, with respect to listing, in 2018, we made some fundamental changes to our listing rules. And three things that were changed in particular. One, we made it easier for new economy companies to list. Many new economy companies had weighted voting rights, and it was very, very difficult to access the Hong Kong market because those economies were reliant on some innovators, some founders that were critical to the success of the companies, and they prefer to have, weighted voting rights. So that change was implemented together with also the possibility of attracting some companies that decided to list in the US, and since they didn't have that possibility, and so providing an easy way for companies to come back to Hong Kong. That was extremely successful. Since then, about $1 trillion Hong Kong dollars was raised through 265 new economy companies that decided to come back to Hong Kong or to list in Hong Kong or to choose Hong Kong. Another one was the decision to change a regime to allow Hong Kong to develop as a biotech fundraising hub. Once again, that was extremely successful. 112 companies since 2018 have actually chosen to raise money in Hong Kong. Many of these companies don't even have revenues. These are pre-revenue companies, and they raised over 250 billion Hong Kong dollars. So imagine all that capital being put to work to actually generate, new discoveries, new medicines that are very important for the healthcare industry. And then we have to continue thinking. And we're now focusing on some important areas. And I'll mention just two of them, given that they are very much in the news lately. One of them is the new chapter that we have developed. It's called Chapter 18C, to take into account the companies of tomorrow. These are companies in artificial intelligence, companies that will try to develop new technologies to capture carbon, for example. Companies in advanced computing, food technology. Some of those companies don't have revenues, and they wouldn't make it to our main board listing requirements. But with these new rules, essentially, if you have the right investment in R&D, if you have the right capital partners, then you would qualify. So that new chapter has generated a lot of attention. The other thing that is also important in the idea of connecting with the world, and this is incredibly important. Typically, many people think of, oh, Hong Kong is just like a way of capturing international money to actually put it to work for Chinese companies. Actually, what has been done in the last year is something quite the opposite. It's allowing international companies to come and list in Hong Kong and take advantage for the first time of that pool of capital from the mainland that will now be able to participate in investment opportunities internationally. Now, there are some requirements that need to be followed, but the reality is the opportunity for southbound investors from the mainland through Stock Connect to participate in companies that are listed in Hong Kong that qualify for Stock Connect. It's just like so important, because that narrative of Hong Kong is just to finance Chinese companies and use international capital. It's not really like that. The objective is to make this a two-way flow, to make it a capital center where capital and opportunities can meet. And it doesn't matter if it's like international capital or domestic Chinese capital. And it doesn't matter if it's opportunities from anywhere in the world. If we can do that, we're going to create a critical mass in certain industries, particularly around technology, that is going to be incredibly exciting for the future.